how we did look. It is like I'm here the manager. I'm responsible for the top sport culture here, and I have to set standards and values, and I have to control them. And we are in a team, and in team we have standards, we have values, and I have to control that. And so after Rayo Vallecano, I thought it's unacceptable, but he wasn't the only one, but that is for everyone. So when it's the second time, that will have consequences. That is now what we did, and so we miss him tomorrow, and that is a miss for us, for the squad. It's a miss, but I think it's important for the attitude, for the mentality from the group. And now we have to focus on Chelsea, and that is the most important.
Well, he's not happy at all, is he, Erik ten Hag? Admitting that indeed Ronaldo did refuse to come on as a sub late in the game against Spurs. Mikey Singh joins us now, a staunch United fan, a defender of Cristiano Ronaldo for some time now. Cristiano also tweeted, actually Instagrammed, a message, a big long one, saying how professional he is. But he also said, I started very young. Older and most experienced players' examples were always very important to me. Therefore, later on, I've always tried to set the example myself for the youngsters that grew in all the teams that I've represented. Unfortunately, that's not always possible. And sometimes the heat of the moment gets the best of us, which is true, right? We often get angry and we lose the plot. But this isn't the first time he's done it, Mikey. As someone who understands that the heartbeat of Manchester United, the tone of the fan base, where are you right now with Ronaldo?
Over it. Over his antics, over him putting himself above the club. And to be honest, Manchester United, I think we can definitively say that they're a better team right now when Ronaldo doesn't play than when they do play. It'd be one thing if his performances warranted more minutes. But you can't honestly look at the sample size over the course of this season, even dating back to halfway through last season, and expect more playing time. When the guys in front of you, like Marcus Rashford, Martial, they're delivering. So the team is doing well. Why are you still upset? You're putting yourself above the club. I'm over it.
And, you know, when he says he lost the plot, essentially, I get that. Like I mentioned, it happens to all of us. At the same time, he is such a strategic human being. Everything he does is for a reason, which is why I don't really buy that so much. I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
No, he for sure did. We spoke about this, I think, yesterday. Like, he knows cameras are always on him. But I think that message also was really, really, like, ridiculous. Like, he's saying, I want, you know, the younger players to look up to me and stuff. Well, then act like a professional. You're not acting like a professional. Whether you're a football player, whether you're, you know, a teacher, whatever it is, he's not acting professional, doing his job whatsoever. And I think it was honestly a load of garbage, that whole statement he wrote.
I blame this on Ten Hag and the Glazers. I'm not dismissing what he did. It was ridiculous. You shouldn't be, you know, walking off the pitch because you're not, you know, getting what you want. But based on what we're hearing, there was a chance to get rid of him in the summer, and they didn't do it. And so you have to expect that if you have a player like Ronaldo, as high profile as he is, he's not going to accept sitting on the bench, and there's something that's going to come with that. Did they know that this is what it was going to be? Maybe not, but still, if a guy like this wants to go, he doesn't want to be there, and you can kind of read in between the lines, the manager doesn't want him in the team either. You got to let him go.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. If you're Ten Hag, you're coming into this new job at Manchester United. How is the first thing you're going to do? Sell Cristiano Ronaldo, a club legend. Yeah. That you're fighting a losing battle there. Like,
no, I understand that.
It's not a win-win situation for him at all. It's a lose-lose for him, no?
But then look what's happening now.
Yeah.
You're putting him on the bench and you're making things even worse. If you let him go and you let your play talk for you instead of what you do off the pitch, then it'd be fine. If they were playing like this without Cristiano Ronaldo leaving when Ten Hag came in wouldn't even be an issue right now.
Well, okay, yeah, I agree with that. And maybe him staying wasn't good for him and not what he wanted. But at the end of the day, like, that's what happened. And so now, what, he's going to be a whiny little baby about it?
No,
or is he going to play?
I'm not saying that he shouldn't, or he should have done that. I'm just saying if they let him go, this wouldn't be happening.
For sure, but they didn't, and we're here now. You know, you can't look at that. He has to make the situation better, and he's only adding fuel to the fire.
Of course. Well, now he's dropping him for one game, right?
Right,
What's
yeah,
gonna
for the
happen
weekend.
when he comes back?
Well, at the same time, if you're Ten Hag, right, so you arrive at this new club, this famous club with this famous player, And you probably realize, he's not going to fit into my system really long term here. Ideally, he leaves. But he has scored over 20 goals, no comps last year. He's still Ronaldo. Maybe he can still do a job. I want to see what I have here. I want to see him at training for a few months, see him in gameplay. Maybe he can be a solution rather than a problem right now. So I get Ten Hag maybe thinking about that, and it hasn't worked out for him, right? That's football. That's what happens in football sometimes. So I get what you're saying. You can look at the ownership for sure. I mean, listen, the Glazers, we could spend an entire hour talking about them and how they're destroying this club in so many ways. But from Erik Ten Hag's perspective, I do understand why he thought, well, let's just try and see what happens.
Right.
Hasn't worked out.
No.
It's up to him to be professional now.
And if there was a discussion between him and Ten Hag before the start of the season saying, listen, I'm not going to have you in my preferred 11. You're going to be making cameos off the bench, and we'll get you some Europa League time and see where that goes. If that discussion happened and he's still doing this, then it's a real issue on Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm just not sure if that happened. But if that did, I completely understand wanting to keep Ronaldo. You have one of the best goal scorers of all time on your bench willing to play that role. How do you not keep him?
Still 89th minute, bringing on, this multiple Ballon d'Or winner, this arguably the greatest player of all time. Is it disrespectful? I don't think it is, but I can see why some people might think it would
What's
be.
more disrespectful, leaving him on the bench against City or not putting him on against Tottenham?
Yeah, when he said just that, right? Yeah, out of respect to Ronaldo, I won't do it. Steven Gerrard got the boot, just 2 wins on the campaign. Villa were really poor on Thursday. I understand that. Looking at the favourites to take over, all the Villa fans want is Mauricio Pochettino. He's one of the favourites. Ruben Amorim of Sporting is up there. Sean Dyche is at plus 500 right now. What are you thinking, Mikey, here? I mean, okay, that ain't happening. I'm sorry, Villa fans. I understand why you want Poch. Who wouldn't want Poch? But he's not looking at Villa as the solution to his managerial needs, surely.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Apparently, it was a very short conversation, and I think Pochettino, coming from PSG, has greater ambitions than Villa. However, there are a few big-name managers out there, not necessarily the ones that you mentioned. But what about guys like Unai Emery or even Thomas Tuchel? Tuchel's probably dying for a chance to get back into the Premier League.
Tuchel wants Champions League football as well, though.
That
A Champions League
more
winning
likely than
coach,
not.
right?
Yeah, more likely than not. But is he going to get that opportunity? I mean, we've mentioned this. Aston Villa is a big club. They have big advantages. They have great fans. It's a tough job, but they're in a position right now where you can look very good. They're way better than what they've shown. Injuries have also hurt them. I think it's a good opportunity for a manager to go in there and reap all the credit for turning a ship around that's probably pretty easy to save. So maybe one of those guys.
I can't see Unai Emery leaving Villarreal right now, though. I don't think he would. Not for Villa right now. I just think he'd really leave them left in the dust if he were to do that, and he has a solid bond with that team. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe it could happen, but not right now.
I don't see that. Villa to Villa, right?
No.
Hey! Anyway, I think if there's anyone, I like Michael Beale from QPR. He was linked to Wolves, but he rejected that. He seems to like the project at QPR. But Emi Martinez, Aston Villa's keeper, was on Ben Foster's podcast, and he was talking about Michael Beale. He's like, this is the only time I've ever been in the dressing room where Steven Gerrard, who is the coach, Michael Beale, the assistant coach, where they both felt like they were head coaches. Michael Beale had such a say in that dressing room, and the players really liked him. So it almost feels like a match made in heaven if he wants to leave QPR.
There's no coincidence that since he left the club, the team struggled.
Right.
I don't think. He's been the man beside Gerrard for some time there. But he came out this week in a statement and said, I'm very happy at QPR. I'm here committed to the future.
Yeah.
But listen, this is Villa. It's a big
Everybody
club, like you
rejected
mentioned
Wolves,
there.
though, right? Let's
I
be
know.
real.
Will someone give Sean Dyche a chance?
Yes,
Please?
I'm all in.
Come on, I want to see this guy
Yeah.
with a bit of a budget and a more attacking side for sure. Okay, Mikey, yesterday we had the survey says, and you weren't here, your absence was conspicuous, to say the very least. Very quickly, you got about 30 seconds here. You chose Gabriel Jesus as the second best striker in the Premier League. We will pick Harry Kane, assuming that we will agree that Haaland at this point is the best striker. Defend your decision for Gabriel Jesus.
I think Gabriel Jesus is a class striker. He was overshadowed at Man City. Never really got the fairest opportunity to take over that number 9 role. And what he has shown with Arsenal is that he's a guy that's changed that attack and changed the way that they're top of the table for a reason. And Gabriel Jesus is probably the biggest reason for that. Arsenal have finally found a number 9 who's reliable, consistent, and could get along with the rest of his teammates. So for me, Gabriel Jesus, second best striker in the Premier League.
All right, listen, I'm glad you chose him because it's pretty boring otherwise. We're all picking the same player. So thank you, Mikey. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, time for a break. When we come back, we're going to look into our crystal balls here and look into the future and what the headlines might be on Monday morning.